Become a channel member to gain early access to all FiveM scripting videos. Hey guys, it's Alfa, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to create a framework in your FiveM server. So this is just going to cover creating the framework directory where we'll put all of our framework resources in the future. And then we're also going to create a base framework resource which will hold all of the key parts of the framework, which we can also add to down the line as well. We're going to be creating a config.lua so we can easily configure our framework on the fly. And we're going to use those configs to change the functionality of the framework that we're going to create in today's tutorial. So firstly, we're going to head into our server directory and we'll head to our resources folder. And in here, we're going to create a new folder and we're going to call it framework in square brackets, like so. And now that we've got the framework directory, we're going to copy the template resource and then we're going to paste it in here. And then we're going to rename this to fw-base. FW is short for framework, and this is just the base resource which we can add on other resources to in the future. And inside of our FW base resource, we've got fxmanifest.lua, client.lua, and server.lua, just like usual. Then we're also going to want to make another text document, and we'll call this one config.lua. And we'll change the file name extension like so. And then we need to make one more file in this directory, and we're going to call this one framework.sql. So this isn't a .lua file, it's a .sql file. And then we're going to need to make some folders in here. So we'll call the first one commands, and the second one will be functions. So inside the commands folder, we're going to create a commands.lua, like so. And then inside the functions folder, we're going to make two function luas. We're going to make functions-client.lua. Oh, that's the .lua, not lua. Functions.cl, which is client.lua, like so. And then also a functions-sv for server.lua. There we go. Functions-cl. Is that that's a dot. I've misnamed that. I need to rename that. Functions-cl.lua, like so. So that's all of our files, and then we can head into the fxmanifest.lua. So we can change the description. I'll call this the base resource for the framework. So, and then in client scripts, we're going to want to put config.lua, and then we're going to start a list. So we're going to want to put a comma. We're also going to put client.lua. We're also going to put functions/functions.lua, or functions-cl.lua, sorry, like that. And then we're also going to do commands. Oh, I didn't put that in. Commands/commands.lua, like so. And then we will save that, and we'll just do the server scripts. So we're going to do config.lua, because the config is going to be accessed by server-sided scripts and client-sided scripts. Then we're going to do server.lua. Oh, I need to put that in speech marks or quote marks. And then we're also going to do functions/functions-sv.lua, like so. And then we're going to do @mysql-async, which is the resource we used in last tutorial for the database test. And we're also going to be using this library again just to use database manipulation in the framework. So it's mysql-async/lib/mysql.lua, because we need to use that resource. And then we don't need files, but we do need dependencies. So we're going to do dependency, like so. We're only doing one dependency, and that will be mysql-async, like so. So that will just make the mysql async resource start if it hasn't already. So that is the fxmanifest done. So we can close that. And then we're going to open up our config.lua. So in here, what we're going to do is do config, and we're going to do this as an array. So config equals, and then we're going to do curly brackets, and then just press enter to extend that down. And we're going to do enable PvP as our first config option, just in case you want to enable or disable this on the fly. Then we'll set this to true because we want PvP to be on. Auto respawn equals false, because we want people to stay dead, not automatically respawn. Max wanted level, set that to 0 because we don't want AI police. Traffic density, oh, that's too many F's, there we go. Traffic density equals 0.0. That's just AI traffic, we don't want any of that. And ped density. So if you've been following the previous tutorials, you may think, oh, we've already done traffic and ped density before. What I'm doing is I'm going to be merging all of those resources into this resource, and then we can get rid of those resources down the line. And then I'm also going to do debug mode, which we want on when we're developing the framework, just to help test things. And then we're going to save that, and that's the config.lua done for now, so I'll close that. Next, we'll open up the client.lua, and then in here we're gonna make some threads that need to run. So we're gonna create 2 threads, one that will need to run every tick, and then one that will just happen every couple seconds, just to make sure things that need to happen but not every tick do happen. So I'll just add a comment. First thread, things that need to happen every few seconds, like so. So then we're going to do citizen.create thread function, and open bracket, and then bring the final bracket down, and we'll put end. And inside the thread, we're going to do while true do, just so it keeps repeating. And we're going to do citizen.wait, and then we'll do just every 2.5 seconds, so 2,500 ticks. So then we'll do every 2.5 seconds, like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to disable distant cop sirens. Distant cop car sirens, false, so that will stop them from happening. And then also set max wanted level, if I can spell, there you go, set max wanted level. And then in here we're going to put config.max wanted level. And what this is going to do is it'll get the max wanted level that we set in the config.lua, and then it will set it as that, basically. So if you want to change that, all you have to do is change it in the config, and you don't have to change it here. And we're going to put end, like so, and then that is our first thread done. And then our second thread, things that need to happen every tick. So citizen.create thread function, and bring the final bracket down and put an end. And then in here, just like before, while true do, and we'll just do an end for that as well. And in the while true loop, we're going to do citizen.wait, and we're going to just put 0 in here because it needs to happen every tick. You still do need to put the citizen.wait though, otherwise it will crash your game. Do this every tick. Let's put like that, if I can spell. Every tick, like so. And then in here, we're going to do our traffic and ped density management, just like in our reduce AI script. So traffic and ped density management. So we're actually going to make a function for this. So what we're going to do is set traffic density, which isn't the FiveM native. The FiveM native would actually be set traffic density multiplier this frame, but we're going to create a function in the functions.lua. So we're just going to do set traffic density, and then in here we're going to do config.traffic density, like so. And then we're going to do set ped density. We'll have another function for that as well. Config.ped density. Lovely. And then we're going to do enable PvP as well. We'll do that as a function. Config.enable PvP. Lovely. And then that is our client.lua done, our 2 threads. So we can close the client.lua now, and then we'll do the server.lua next. So the server.lua is going to have an event handler. So add event handler, and this is going to do it when the player is joining the server. So add event handler, and then the event is called player connecting. So when that event happens, we're going to trigger some things to also run. So when a player is connecting to the server, it's going to run the code that we're about to write, basically. And then we're going to do a function name, set kick reason, and deferrals. Like so, and we'll bring down the end. And then we're going to create some variables. Variable creation. Like so. Then we'll do local source equals source. Local identifiers equals get player identifiers source. So, and we're going to do local Steam ID and FiveM. Like so. And then we're going to define the variables. Defining variables. So we're going to do for k, b in I pairs identifiers, like so. Do. We're just going to end there as well for the for loop. And in here we'll do if string dot match comma or bracket v comma, and we'll do in speech marks or in quotation marks Steam, like so. Then we'll do an end. Lovely. We'll do Steam ID equals v, like so. Oh, no, v. Lovely. And then we're just going to do a quick if config.debug mode. Then, and in here, we'll just do print debug. What we need to do: point marks debug Steam ID grabbed, like so. And that will only run if the debug mode is enabled. Next, we're going to add an else if to our if statement for the string.match. Else if string dot match in brackets v comma in speech marks FiveM. Then FiveM equals v, and then once again we'll do if config dot debug mode, then print debug FiveM ID grabbed, which is an end for that. And then after line 20 where the third end is, we're just going to go to a new line and then do if not FiveM, then deferrals dot done, and then in brackets you need to log into a FiveM cfx.re account, and that will just basically stop them from joining the server because they don't have a FiveM ID, and we want to grab their FiveM ID, and obviously if they don't have it we can't grab it, so that will make them log into a FiveM cfx.re account before they can join the server. And then we're going to do else if not Steam, then deferrals dot done you need to open Steam, and that will make sure that they've got a Steam ID that we can grab as well. And then we're just going to do else, and then we'll do deferrals dot done, nothing in there. So if config dot debug mode, then print debug Steam ID is being fetched, like so. End the debug mode, and we're going to do and then what we're going to do is we're going to check if the Steam ID is already in the database, which if it's the person's first time joining the server, it won't be. So we're just going to do checking for players Steam ID in the database. So we're going to do mysql.async.fetch scalar. So, and then in quote marks, this is the SQL query now. So select one from, and then we'll call the database table user underscore identifiers. We'll create that down the line where Steam ID equals at Steam ID. Lovely. And we'll do a comma and then open curly brackets, push that down to the next line, and then in square brackets and quote marks at Steam ID, and outside of the square brackets equals Steam ID, like so. And then on the next line where the curly brackets end, we'll do a comma, function result, and then after the result bracket but not the last bracket, we're just going to push that down and put end. But then inside of here we're going to do if not result, then, so if there's no result, the player isn't in the database, we're just going to do if config.debug mode, then print debug Steam ID not found, inserting identifiers into the database, like so. Oop. And we'll add an end to that. And then in here we're going to do trigger event, and then we're going to call this FW for framework, FW first player join, and then we'll do source, like so. Because this is a client-sided event, so we need to define the source so it knows which client to run this for. Trigger client first join event. And then we're going to do an else. And then we'll do if config.debug mode, then print debug Steam ID found. Put end there. And then we're going to do an end for the else as well. There we go. And then we can get rid of these gaps just here. And also another end for the if not FiveM, basically. So we should have 5 ends staircased at the bottom, like so. If you don't have 5 ends, then you may not have written the code properly. Just pause the video and check your code to make sure it's all the same as mine. So before you close the server.lua, I did make a mistake here on line 23, else if not Steam then. We just need to add that as Steam ID, so else if not Steam ID then, because otherwise it will not work. So I'm just going to save this, and then we will close this for now. Since we just did a bunch of SQL stuff, we will do the SQL file now since it's fresh in our minds. This is all in SQL syntax. So we're going to do create database. This is all in caps. If not exists. So only create the database if one doesn't already exist. And then we've got to do tilde, which will be the key just below escape or above tab or to the left of your 1 key on your keyboard. That's the tilde key. And then you want to type framework and then tilde again, and then a semicolon to end the instruction. On the next line, we're going to use framework, like so. Use framework, and then semicolon, and we'll just go two lines down, and then we'll do create table. We'll call this one user identifiers, like we did in the server.lua. User identifiers, and then we'll do an open bracket. Now extend the brackets down. And just on the end of that bracket, we'll also put a semicolon. And then inside of these brackets, we're going to do Steam name. This will be varchar, so variable character. So we're doing the name of each attribute within the table, and then we're doing the type of the attribute, so a variable character, and then the field length. So we'll do 60 characters. That's long enough. And then we'll do the default as not null. There we go. Now we'll do the next one, which will be Steam ID. Varchar as well. And we'll do a 60. Not null. Next one will be license. Varchar 60. Not null. We'll do Discord, which will be useful to use if we integrate a Discord bot down the line. Varchar 60 not null, and then we'll do FiveM, which is their FiveM ID. Varchar 60. Oh, that's not varchar. It's varchar. Varchar, lovely. Not null. And then we'll do IP in case we need to ban someone. We can ban them using their IP, FiveM, and Steam ID. Ban them using all three just to make sure the ban can't be worked around by the user. And we'll do not null as the default once again. And then we're going to set the primary key as the Steam ID. Primary key Steam ID, like so. Now, primary key is basically each entry has to be completely unique. So two different players can't have the same Steam ID. Basically, each one has to be completely different from the other one. So this is our framework.sql finished. So we'll save that and then we'll close that. And that's all of our files in here done. So we'll next go into commands and we'll open our commands.lua. And these are our commands that we can type in chat when in the server. Some of these we've already done, like we're going to do the car and dv commands, which we've done in a previous tutorial, but I just want them all to be integrated into this one resource. So we're going to do register command, open bracket, car, and that's the thing that you've got to type into chat to run the command. We're going to do function, source, and args, and we'll bring the second bracket down, we'll do end, comma, false, just like we do for every command. And in here, we're going to do local vehicle equals args, and square brackets 1, so the first argument, or tailgater. So if you just do /car and don't actually put an argument, basically what the car that you want to spawn is, it will spawn a tailgater just as a default vehicle. And then we're going to run the function spawn vehicle and vehicle, like so. So that's our first command done. Next one we'll do is dv, just to delete vehicle if we've spawned one. Register command, dv, function, source. We don't need args for this one because we're not typing what type of vehicle we want to despawn or whatever. We're just doing dv, and it will delete the vehicle that you're in. So we'll do end false, just like usual. And in here we'll just do delete vehicle, like so. So the next command will be a weapon command, so spawn in a weapon and give it to yourself. So we'll do register command weapon, we'll do function, source, args. We'll bring down the next one, end, false. And in here we're going to do local weapon equals args 1. Execute. There we go. Or we'll do pistol as the default one. In case you just do /weapon, it'll give you a pistol. And then we'll do give weapon, like so. And then obviously, as you can tell, we're probably going to have quite a lot of chat commands. So what I'm going to do at the top up here is I'm just going to push down this first command that we did. And then I'm just going to, in comments, template command function, like so. And here what we're going to do is we're just going to do 2 dashes to do a comment, and then we're going to do 2 open square brackets, and then we'll push down the next one, like so. And this will mean that we can do multiple lines of comment without having to do a dash at the start of each line. And then we're just going to do register command, open bracket, our speech marks, and then function source, and then we'll bring down the last one and false, like so. So now this is always ready for us to just copy and paste if we want to do another function instead of having to type this out every single time. So I'm just going to do that. I'll copy that, and then we'll paste it down again, like so. And then all I've got to do in here is we're going to do fix for the next one, which will fix the vehicle. So, and then in here, fix vehicle, like so. That one's done. And the next one, we're going to do heal to heal yourself. And we'll do heal self. So, as you can see, it makes it a lot faster if you've got a template one just to copy and paste. And then we'll do revive for the next one in case you're completely dead and you need to revive yourself. And then we'll do revive self as the name of the function for that one. And then the last one we'll do for today's video is TP, which will teleport you to your waypoint. So teleport to waypoint, like so. And then we'll save that, and this is all of our commands. So just bring that gap back up. So this is all of our commands, and then I'm going to close this for now. And then we're going to head into our functions folder, and we'll do functions-cl. And then in here, we'll also make a template function as well. Template function. So, and then we'll just do the same, dash, dash, square bracket. So, and then in here, we'll do function, like so, and then end. Oh, that's all caps. Like so. So we'll just copy that, and then we'll paste that down here. So our first function will be called notify, and in our parameters we're going to do text. So in here we're going to do set notification text entry, and then we'll do string in speech marks, or yeah, speech marks, and then we're going to do add text component string text, like so. And then we're going to do draw notification true false, like so. So that's our first function. Our next one that we're going to do will be get coords, which is going to get the player's coordinates, or get the coordinates of any entity really. So we'll do local. So we'll do local coords equals get entity coords entity false, and then local heading equals get entity heading entity, like so. And then return vector for coords dot x, coords dot y, coords dot z, and then heading, like so. And that will return it as a list having the x, y, z, and the direction that the entity is heading or facing. The next function we're going to do is spawn vehicle. So we'll do spawn vehicle, and then in here we need the vehicle. So we'll do local vehicle name equals vehicle or tailgater. Just in case it failed to pass the parameter, it will just spawn a tailgater as a backup vehicle. If not is model in CD image vehicle name, or not is model a vehicle name, then notify, so that's using this function up here, notify vehicle not recognized, like so, and then we'll return, and we'll end that. And the next one, we're going to do request model vehicle name, and then we're going to do while not has model loaded vehicle name, do, why does it keep doing that? There we go. Do wait 500, so it'll wait half a second, and then end. As you can see there, I didn't do citizen.wait because this is a client. And then on the next one, I'm going to do local player head equals player head ID. I'm going to do local pos equals get entity awards player head. And we'll do if is ped in any vehicle player ped, comma true, then and we'll do an end on the next line. We'll do delete vehicle, open and close bracket like so. And the next time we're going to do local vehicle equals create vehicle name pos.x pos.y pos.z, and we're going to do get entity heading player ped. Outside that first bracket, we're going to do true and false, like so. And then the next line, we're going to do set head into vehicle player ped vehicle -1, which will do it instantly. Set entity as no longer needed, because we're not spawning it in anymore, it's already been spawned in. And then we're going to do vehicle set model as no longer needed. We're just going to do vehicle name, and then notify vehicle spawned, so. And that is the end of the spawn vehicle function. The next one we're going to do is delete vehicle. So function delete vehicle, and then in here we're going to do local player ped equals player ped ID, like so, and local vehicle equals get vehicle ped is in player ped, and comma true. That true will just mean if they're not in a vehicle, it will get the last vehicle that they were in. Then we'll do delete entity vehicle, and then we're going to do notify vehicle deleted, like so. That's that function done. The next one we'll do is give weapon. Give weapon. So, and then in here we're going to put weapon. So in here we're going to do local weapon hash equals, and then in brackets, and then in brackets and speech marks, like so. We're going to do weapon underscore dot weapon. So what this will do, it will get the weapon that we put in the command, or pistol if we didn't do any weapon at all, and then it will add that. So this will append it, so add on to this string, so it'll do weapon underscore pistol. If we wanted a assault rifle, it'll be weapon underscore assault rifle, and so on, because you need to use a hash when you're giving yourself a weapon with the FiveM native. So it'll be give weapon to ped, get player ped -1, comma, get hash key weapon hash 999, so this is the amount of ammo, and then false. This second false is whether you want to equip the weapon. We don't, we just want it to be in the player's weapon wheel. Then we're going to do notify, and then we're going to do weapon given. So I'll just correct notify, like so. Lovely. The next function we'll do is fix vehicle. Fix vehicle, like so. And then in here we'll do local player ped equals player ped ID, local vehicle equals get vehicle ped is in player ped false. So this I'm going to do false this time, so you have to be in the vehicle to fix it. And we do set vehicle fixed vehicle, like so. That one's done. Next one we'll do is heal self. So function heal self, like so. So we'll do local max health equals get ped max health, player ped ID, and then set entity health, player ped ID max health. So it'll set you to your maximum health. Obviously, if your max health, I didn't spell heal right there. Yourself. So this will set you to your max health. If your max health is lower than it usually would be, then it will only set it to the new maximum of your health. We'll do revive self next. So function revive self, like so. And in here we'll do local player ped equals player ped ID, local player pos equals get entity towards player ped true, like so. And then we'll do network resurrect, is that how you spell it? Resurrect, I think, local player, and we'll do player pos true false, like so. And then we'll do set player invincible player ped false, and we'll do clear ped blood damage, so any blood that's on the ped will be removed. Player ped, oh, I need to do a capital P there, ped. So, and then we'll do set ped visible, which is a function we'll have to do later. Set ped visible player ped, like so. And that is the revive self function complete. Next we're going to do the traffic and ped density functions. So we'll do function, we'll do set traffic density, so, and we'll do density in there. Lovely. So then we're going to do set parked vehicle. Oh, I didn't spell parked correctly. Parked vehicle density multiplier this frame density. I'm just going to copy this one and we're going to paste this a couple times like so, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do set vehicle density multiply this frame like so. Let's get rid of the parked, and then we'll also go change parked on this one to random, set random vehicle density multiply this frame, and all of them will be just density like so. And that's that function done. I'll just go back up to the top and copy this one again, the template one, and then we'll do the head density. So set head density, and the parameter will put density. In here we're going to do set head density multiplier this frame density, and we'll copy that and paste that one time as well. And then what we're going to do is between set and ped we're going to do scenario, set scenario ped density multiply this frame to density as well, and that is that function done as well. I'm just going to copy the template one again. The next one we're going to do is draw text. So function draw, we'll do txt like so, and in here we're going to put content, font, color, scale, X and Y. Brilliant. And then in here we're going to do set text font. Will be font. Oh, I need to do a capital T on text. There we go. We're going to do set text scale. We're going to do scale, so that's X and Y basically. We're going to do the same for both of them, so it's not super stretched in either direction. Then we're going to do set text color. This will be color 1, color 2, color 3, and then the opacity, which we'll just do as 255, so it's fully visible. And then set text entry, string, so, and set text drop shadow 0, 0, 0, 0, 255, like so. So we don't want any drop shadow on ours. Obviously you can if you'd like. Set text edge, and this one's going to be 4, 0, 0, 0, oh, too many zeros, 0, and then 255, like so. Ooh. Then we're going to do set text outline. Let's do that, and then it'll be set text, and then it'll be add text component string content. So that will be the actual message, and then we're going to do draw text X Y, like so. So that is our draw txt function. So we've only got 3 functions left. We're almost there. So our next function is going to be our teleport to waypoint. Like so. So then in here we're going to do local waypoint equals get first blip info ID. 8, which will be your waypoint. If does, oh, that needs to be capital. If does blip exist, waypoint, then also an end on there. And here we're going to do local waypoint awards equal get blip, or not clip, blip awards waypoint. And we'll do for height equals 1 to 1000. Do, and we're going to add an end on there. Citizen dot wait 10 milliseconds. And we'll do local player head. Sorry, player head without a capital P. There you go. Local player head equals get player head -1. So next we're going to do local found ground, comma ground z equals get ground z or underscore 3D award waypoint awards dot x waypoint awards dot y height plus 0.0. Like so. Then we'll do if found ground, then which is an end, set entity awards no offset player head waypoint awards dot x waypoint awards dot y, and we'll do ground z plus 2.0, just make sure you're above the ground. False, false, true, like so. And then we'll do break, and then just below the second end we're going to do an else. We'll do notify no waypoint set, like so, and that is the teleport to waypoint function. Let's go and grab the function template again. So we've got 2 more to go. So the next one is enable PvP, and then bool local player head equals player head ID, and then here we'll do set can attack friendly player head all true network set friendly fire option bool. Bool is boolean, which is either true or false. There we go. So that is that function done, and the final function is set ped visible. Ped visible, like so. And in here we're going to do set entity visible entity. Oh yeah, in here we're going to do entity in the parameter. Set visible entity true 0. and then we're going to do network set entity invisible to network entity false. Like so. So that is all of our functions done. Obviously that was quite laborious, but these are all going to be very useful in the server. Before we close the functions client.lua, you also need to make sure that on line 82 for the function set per density, just make sure that you spell density correctly. I did just misspell it just there, but that will just be corrected now. Another issue on functions client.lua is on line 117. I accidentally did capital L for playerped ID, so I'll just change that to a lowercase l, and that will fix that issue. Another error in the functions client.lua is on line 22. If not is model in CD image, the I in image needs to be lowercase, like so. Another issue is on line 43, where I put local playerped. I accidentally put a capital P, which we just need to put a lowercase p for that because it's a lowercase p here. So we can save that and close it. And last but not least, we've got the functions.sv, or functions-sv, sorry. So this one isn't anywhere near as long as the functions client, so don't worry about that. So on here, we're just going to do handle all operation or when a player first joins the server. So we're going to do register server event. Here we're going to do fw colon first player join. So this is an event, so when the first player, the time the player joins for the first time, this event will happen, and we're going to add an event handler so we know what will happen when this event runs. fw first player join. So we're going to do function source and in here we're going to do our variable creation. Local source equals source. Local identifiers equal get player identifiers source. We'll do local Steam ID, license, Discord, FiveM, IP. Gap there, and we'll do another gap here, defining the variables as users identifiers. So I'm going to do for k, v in ipairs identifiers do. Oh, that's what it's called. Do. And we do if string dot match v comma Steam, then Steam ID equals v, else if string dot match v comma, let's do that. We're just going to create a quick template one to copy and paste. So we'll just copy and paste this 3 more times. 1, 2, 3. There you go. So now in here we're going to do license. Then we'll do license equals v. And here we'll do Discord. Discord equals v. Oh, there you go. And this one we'll do FiveM. FiveM equals v. And the next one we'll do IP. We'll do IP equals v, like so, and then we'll end that, like so, and that is the variable definition done. So on the next section, we're going to do create the user in the database. So in future tutorials, we'll probably need to come back to this and add more things if we've got more tables. Since we've only got one table, we're only going to run the one query for now. So we'll just do user underscore identifiers, like so. And then if we have more tables down the line in the database, for example, user characters, for example, if we had multiple characters, we could do that in another table like that. But we don't have that for now, so we're just going to do user identifiers. So we're going to do mysql.async.execute. I'm going to do insert into user underscore identifiers, Steam name, Steam ID, license, Discord, FiveM, IP, values, at Steam name, at Steam ID, at license, at Discord, at FiveM, at IP. So then just after the speech mark, we're going to do a comma, then bring down the end bracket, and then here we're going to just tab it in so it's on the same line. We're going to do an open curly bracket, and then we're going to do square bracket, speech mark, at Steam ID equals player name source, comma, open square bracket, so bring this forward again, and in here we're going to do at Steam ID equals Steam ID, comma. I'm just going to copy this and paste it a couple times for each one that we're going to need to do. So we need to do one for license, one for Discord, one for FiveM, one for IP. So we'll change this one to license. And we got Discord. Discord. We got FiveM. Oh, get rid of this. And FiveM. And then we've got IP. And IP. So, and we'll get rid of that final comma because we don't want a final comma there. And that is it for that. And then we're just going to do below that if config.debug mode, then print debug identifiers inserted into the database. End, like so. Before we close the functions server.lua, I just need to say on line 27, when I put mysql.async, the SQL needs to be all caps. So mysql like so, all caps with a capital lowercase, a lowercase y on mysql like so. On functions-sv.lua, just before we close it, on line 28, I accidentally put Steam ID twice. This first one needs to be Steam name like so. And that is everything for the functions server.lua. So we can close that now. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to actually go back to our resources directory, and we're going to go into the managers folder and go into the spawn manager resource, and then we're going to open up the spawnmanager.lua, and then we're just going to search for died at like so, and then we can see in here around line 352, that's the one we're looking for. You can see if died at and then a bunch of things, or respawn forced, then and it will respawn the player. We just got to remove the died at part and just leave respawn forced. So if respawn forced, then it will auto spawn the player, otherwise it won't respawn them when they die. So we're just going to save that and close that now. And that's basically going to make it so when someone dies in the server, they don't instantly respawn unless they've been revived by someone or done the /revive command, for example. Next, we're just going to open up the XAMPP control panel and start the MySQL port, just so we can access our database. And then we're going to boot up HeidiSQL, and we're going to open our session. And as you can see here from our previous tutorial where we did the database test, we've got FiveM_DB, but we're actually going to be using framework. So what we're going to want to do is file, load SQL file, and find our server resource. So that will be FW base, and find the framework.sql which we just created, and open that. And if you get this, just press yes. And as you can see here, we've got our file which we just created earlier, so we're going to go ahead and run that. And after opening it in here, I can see that I've accidentally put Discord and FiveM in quote marks instead of tildes. So I'm going to change that now into tildes, like so. I'll just save that, and then I'm going to, there you go, and then I'm just going to press the blue run button, like so. And then if I refresh, and if I refresh on the left just by right clicking and pressing refresh, as you can see here, we now have the framework database. So I can open that, and that also has the user identifiers table. So if I go to table user identifiers, I can see I've got Steam name, Steam ID, which as you can see has got the golden key, which means it is the primary key, license, Discord, FiveM, and IP. I can go into data here, and if there was data, it would show up here. So I'm just going to minimize this for now, not close it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our server.cfg. And here we've got our MySQL connection string, which we set in the last tutorial, but we need to change the FiveM, but we need to change the database from FiveM_DB to framework, because that is the new database that we're going to be using. And we also want to go into our resources.cfg, and we've replaced the database test resource because that uses FiveM_DB, so we want to disable that. And also cardDB command we want to disable because we've got that in the framework now. And also reduce AI because we've got that in the framework as well. So we'll just disable those three, put them together separately like that. And then we want to add ensure fw-base, like so. And that will start our framework base resource. And then we can minimize that, and we can run the server to see if there are any errors. So it looks good so far. All of the resources started. MySQL started even though we haven't told it to start because we set it as a dependency. So that started before the FW base resource started up. And as you can see here, this is very important. MySQL async success, database server connection established. So now I'm going to boot up FiveM, and we're going to test to see if it will grab my identifiers and put them into the database just here. So I'm just going to connect to the server here. And as you can see here, it says you need to open Steam. I've just misspelled there, but you shouldn't say that if you spelled it correctly. But yeah, as you can see, it says you need to open Steam, and this is because I don't have Steam open. So I just need to boot up Steam like so, and then reopen FiveM. So now if I connect to my local hosted server, it puts me in. So now that we have loaded into the server, if I just close out with FiveM and we check the console, here, as you can see, debug, Steam ID grabbed, FiveM ID grabbed, Steam ID is being fetched, connecting Alpha, and then obviously Steam ID not found, inserting into identifiers database, identifiers inserted into database, and as you can see here, it's grabbed my Steam name, Steam ID, license, Discord, FiveM, and IP. Now, if yours doesn't show up, that's because you need to right click and just press refresh, and then all of your information will appear. If I was to delete this row, so right click, so if I right click and delete selected rows, and then if I rejoin the server, it will all reappear again. It will just be as if I've never joined the server, but if it's already there when I join, it won't add a second row, it will just reuse the first row as it should. So I'll just rejoin into the server and test out some of the commands that we made as well. Now we are in the server, so if I press T and then press slash, you'll see all of the commands which we made. So we'll do slash car, and that should give me a tailgater, like so, yes. And then if I do slash DV, that'll delete the vehicle, lovely. And then we've got other ones like fix, so if we get a car again, and then we crash it into the tree, like so. As you can see, it's just added a little dent or scratch onto the front of the car. If I do /fix, that gets rid of that dent and scratch. You can also try /weapon. So if I do /weapon, that will give me a pistol, like so. And I can do /weapon assault rifle, and that gives me an assault rifle, like so. So if I give myself a Molotov to damage myself, like so, put that on the ground, set myself on fire for a moment, there we go. So my health in the bottom left is lower than usual. So if I do /heal, that puts me back to full health. And if I let myself die, go all the way down to no health at all. Oh, there we go, I'm dead. And as you can see, I don't respawn, I'll just stay dead. But if I do /revive, that will revive me back again, and obviously stay in the position that I was. If I didn't do the position set in the commands, then I would have just respawned in a random location, but we've made it so it sets the location as where we died. So that's all of the commands that we made in the video for now. Obviously, we're going to expand on this in the next coming tutorials, but that is everything for today's tutorial. As I'm sure you can tell, it's been a very long one, but we've just got everything that we need set up for the framework. I didn't want to do anything more in today's video because otherwise it's just going to become a feature-length film at this point. But all the tutorials for the foreseeable future are all going to be framework related, unless I decide to do little small short tutorials here and there, but most of them will require you to obviously do all the tutorials beforehand, so especially the upcoming ones, because you'll need to have the framework before you can do more things for the framework. So make sure you don't miss any episodes, and you can add them to your watch later, for example, or save them to a playlist or anything like that, just to make sure you're always watching them in order as they come out. As always, if you want early access to the videos, you can always become a channel member and you get videos before anyone else, so you can always get ahead on the framework. So I'll just close FiveM now, and we'll close down all of our stuff. Obviously, if I refresh, you can see we've got all of our information in the database. I'll close that down for now as well, and we'll close XAMPP. But that is everything for today's video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, leave a comment of what you'd like to see in the future. And always, if you need any programming support, join the Alpha's support Discord in the description. It'll be at the top of the description. We're always happy to help each other in there with programming. And also, if you are following along and you manage to make it through this entire tutorial, I'd love to see your guys' progress. And if you experiment in your own time between videos, please share some comments or share some messages in the Discord. I'd love to see what you guys come up with as well. It might give me some ideas for what I could make for tutorials for everyone else as well. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.